welcome to another session by Arian Brito Analysis. Today, Monday the 30th of October, we will divert a bit from our usual podcasts. We tend to focus on war and everything related to not very good things to conflict. But I want to share with you an experience, my life experience, and in terms of race, dealing with people, enemies, and why we should always try and be reasonable with ourselves and accept there's some certain enemies we just can't fight, or they are seriously not worth it, and we just have to let go. So my name is Erin Denise Brito. I run the blog Erin Brito Analysis when I can, as I can, and I'm based in London, and there's a few bits that I tend to drop here and there about myself, but I don't often go into much detail. I am a medium-aged woman, a mature woman, but when I was a young woman, many moons ago, my parents and my family had a serious problem with me. Not only I was always at home, I was not interested in men, I was not interested in women. And I spent the high school, then adult age. I went to university and I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cysts. I had spent years before that doing hormone therapy. I did lactose, I did progesterone, and nothing was working. I had cytology when I was 23, I believe, and the situation was escalating. I was having private health care, and they put me on danazol, Danatrol for 9 months because it had spread to my ovaries. If that was not to work, then I would be operated. The experience of danazol, Danatrol was an horrible experience. I was always feeling extremely tired, extremely sleepy, and there's certain kind of health conditions like I had, the cysts spreading on my breast, my ovaries, that will truly knock you out to the point if you have coffee you still feel sleepy, so obviously coffee doesn't work. There was many girls in my village dying at the time with the same problem. 15 years, 20 years, I still don't know why. But I have survived, and I still had no interest in boys and no girls. I like to be on my own. And when I was around from 13 to 15, I believe, I was in a class with just boys. We were doing electronics, electricity, vocationals, and we were 32. I was the only girl. And then I wanted to go to the city, so I was living in Vila Maria de Ribatejo, and I wanted to go to the city to study where my brothers were going. And my mom refused to sign the paper. She said, "Oh no, because you might get pregnant." I had no boyfriend intention of that. So I went to humanities. I had studied humanities, and my mom was always saying, "Go and be a lawyer or be a judge. You will end up being like Martin Luther King or something, because you're just too talkative when you have to argue a case." But I was like, I'd rather read and write or something like that, because I was always very good at writing, and English is not my language. You might think that I'm a bit sloppy with my writing and spelling, but English is my third language. My primary teacher always told me, you have to be a writer. Go and study literature and just be a writer, and that was something I would have enjoyed, but I would prefer to do something related to, I don't know, science, space, something different. But I stayed in humanities and I studied in a high school. I spent almost 9 to 10 years suffering with the problem of augmenting. The cysts were getting bigger, spreading, and when I started Danazol, I was always sleepy by 8 o'clock, and my parents were still worried, this girl, she doesn't get out of the house. And meanwhile, when I was 23, but the crisis came with 23, my parents were desperate. What's wrong with this woman? There was this girl that was always after my brother, my eldest brother. She's mixed race. Her dad is white, was a mercenary and he died in Africa. And her mom was an African lady, which I never met, because in my village I knew very little people, and I was always with the same friends. I was the type of boring person that my best friend was Paula Susanna, was my best friend of my life, and when I was not at school was my friend Luis Mota, because my parents were friends, and he's on Facebook today, so that's how boring I was. But if someone would have told me I'll be alive today, I wouldn't believe it. I always told my parents, I'm not gonna make it. And when even now that I have kids, when my younger son turned 9 some years ago, I said, I always pray to God give me at least for me to get until they're 9, so I won't have any problem coming back. But I haven't had so far. I've done some scans here in Bristol, and I've been clear. I don't know the present situation, but I was clear for many years. And going back to the point of enemy, so this is a mixed race person, and with 20 years old, she was 20 years as well. She was 20 years, I was 20 years. I don't know her. She's my brother's friend. My brother's friends. I don't know her because I don't get out at night. I don't hang around in bars. I didn't have a sexual life, of course. She had, and all the other girls, so I wasn't into that type of environment. She was always talking bad of me to my brothers and to my parents when she would meet them outside, she doesn't want to work, go to a shop and work. She doesn't want to do anything. I was doing volunteering, because what it is, I walked into an embassy and I told them, I want to work. My parents told me, you have your health problems, you're very sleepy and tired. This treatment, that treatment, but just, work. And they told me, we'll give you a job association very far away in the south, because I live in the south, but that was further south. But for a few months, you won't pay you, and then eventually you will get paid. And I was supposed to start precisely on January 2002, and I decided to come to England to visit my brother and study, because I couldn't stand the environment that this girl was constantly inciting my family, because I had no boyfriends, I had no work, etc. When I came, I was 25, but I had to get a boyfriend because of the pressure. There was massive arguments at home, because I had no intentions of getting anyone. Certain people, they have that personality. They need other people. At the time, I didn't. I was very selfish. I truly didn't care about people growing up, and I was think, well, why do I need to worry? My parents, they're gonna, they inherited lands, and more lands from both sides. I want to go to Africa. I don't need to worry. So when I went at that age, almost 24, I went to the cultural center in Belen, and I met this boy who was doing his master's degree and taught in the Faculty of Law of Lisbon. And we started talking, because he asked where I was from. And I told him where I was from, and he told me, I am from Guinea-Bissau. And you're talking to me? People usually don't talk to me. And I asked why. Well, because I'm the direct nephew of Nino Vieira. And at that time was one of the richest men in the world, the most hated, was a dictator in Africa, which when he died, my mom and my dad, they went to his funeral in Guinea-Bissau. But I was already in here, I had kids, I just sent an email saying my condolences. And funny enough, we started talking, and we became friends, and we were friends. I was friends with his friends. At least I got friends out of the village. And I took him home, and I said to my parents, look, I would like to marry him. And he said, you'd like to marry me as well. And my parents were like, no, because he's not from here, he's not from your race. And I was very happy. I was beyond happy. I even met Fatima Vieira. She's Cape Verdean. She married with Nino Vieira, the dictator who died. And I thought the world of them, really. But my mom and my dad, they were not interested, because this girl, mixed race, was determined to ruin my life, and she was constantly talking bad of me and him, saying that, look how your children are going to look, your grandchildren are going to look, they're going to look like this, they're going to look like that. Why she mentally ill? Why she getting involved with someone from there? Funny enough, her dad died killing people from there, her white father. So I was still, I don't know who is this girl, and my eldest brother was having arguments with me about always about her. And then I found out that because I couldn't dress like her, I had to dress old fashioned. I used to dress like, you would have thought I was an English person. In Portugal, you have thought that I would dress like the Queen of England. Like, you know, these things of the brush. I was just to dress. My mom never owned a brush in her life, but I would dress like I was the Queen of England. A very conservative, my heels, and she would dress according to my body, you know, decorated tops, tight jeans, and boots, cowboy boots. And she was some kind of involvement with my brother. And when I left, because the arguments were too much, and I was under pressure, you know, do something, get married, blah 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 blah. Then when I got this person, oh no, you cannot be with him, oh he's from there, he's the retarded culture, blah blah blah. And we were supposed to be in a relationship, but my other brother told me it's gonna be me or him. I was on the airplane, I was landing in England, and I said, oh, what a shame. So obviously I had to choose my brother, because blood is blood, of course. And this girl continued her campaign, then she started going to my parents' house. So this is a fantastic enemy I have. So you're talking about race, people being united about race. Well, she's mixed race, and she was my fantastic enemy, which until today I haven't seen her face. She saw me driving her car. She drives her car. She used to drive the car when she was young and see me, and she knew all my life, and I had no idea who this girl was. And when I was here, my mom told me that she got involved with my brother's best friend. So now it was not my brother, it was my brother's best friend, and he had a girlfriend, and she separated the two of them and then they got back together, they got married, they had a kid. She went again, separated them, took him to Angola, and he's a white Portuguese, worked in there. She knew he was sleeping with the Chinese maids and disgracing my life. She kept staying with him. They had 2 kids together. He left to Portugal, went back to his ex-wife. She went after him, and now she sees her children in a contact center. She lost the children. She went to drop them in school. When she came back, they're gone. And these were the white kids that she always rubbed in my parents' face. That, look, she's not gonna have. Do you want African kids as grandchildren? It's gonna be difficult. So she manipulated and waged a campaign of hate against me, controlling all my life, what I should do, what I should not do. She knew I was in that association and that I was going to be a permanent member of staff. I'll go in there, I'll open the house, and I would be just there in the Cape Verdean Association, where even the Prime Minister of Cape Verde went on a party, and my father did not let me go to that party because he said no, because the politicians, you are too young to go in those places. And I found those the most ridiculous thing. But I didn't find 22, 23 was too young person to go to a party like that. But there was certain concerns around the time. The mentality was very different, and the environments were very different. And just see what happened to these women now always on the news saying that this happened at the party, that happened at the party, and whatnot. So I wanted to share this story with you, to tell you to don't be so faithful on issues as race, and don't be so faithful on issues as our revenge, because want the revenge of others, hold grudges, is something that really will not take you to anywhere. And I believe one of the biggest problems of Americans today and the world is that they are obsessed with revenging from people, not forgiving people. That's why when you switch to NBC News, like I did this weekend, they had the Dateline cases of one Mensa International member, a doctor, who had waged a campaign of revenge against professors, his colleagues at university. Another member of Mensa International, who was a sheriff and worked for the district attorney after that, who had waged a campaign of revenge against his former colleagues and killed judges and the district attorneys. And this is in our last decade. So what is going on? Highly intelligent people, highly sophisticated people, people who use their head, who have no problem in sit and wait and eat their plate cold when it comes to revenge, just plan the most inhumane crimes at bullet, under the bullet, against colleagues, ex-colleagues. Are we being taught different, that revenge is honor? No, we are being taught that revenge is not honor, is stupid. The way this mentality in America is a reflection of the mentality of the world. People align themselves in terms of race, friendships, or convenience, or interests, and once these don't exist, they will want to wage a campaign of hate and revenge. Or on the other extreme, they want to wage a campaign of hate based on these identity principles. Now this girl, at that time, not now, took my brother away from me, created hate, created dissent, and soon after she took the father of her children from his ex, created hate, created dissent. She destroyed, took two loved ones, and decades later she got the same measure. Something or someone done the same to her, either something she done or someone that came in her way and taught her a lesson, a painful lesson. And now where is her power to change things? Where is her power to build? Everything is destroyed. She might be a successful landlady, have houses here and there. She might still be the same materialist person. But the evil she done caught up to her. At the time, I felt what I feel today. That should not be worth of my time. I could have got dressed one night and gone to the pubs and see who this Anne Maria was. I never done that. I had no interest. She had all the interest in talking to me about me, of manipulating people around me, but I had no interest in her. And I look back and I think how different my life would be if that person never came into my brother's life. I'll tell you, I'll be happily married. I'll be comfortably happy marriage. I'll be traveling non-stop. I won't have kids. and my life would have been a life of intellectual happiness out next to someone highly intelligent, who by now I think he might have done his PhD in constitutional law because that was his field. And I would be going front and back to Guinea-Bissau, to Cape Verde, to Europe, to America. I would have traveled non-stop because that's were my plans. My plans was never to have a family, never end up being a carer to my loved ones. But life brought me here, and I believe that if I had waged a campaign of hate against her, a campaign of war, I wouldn't be here. I'll be in a darker place. I'll be in a very hateful place. And now I am in a better place than before, because since few years I found a man that I deeply love, and he deeply loves me. And I would never have met him here, him being from Eastern Europe, if I hadn't come here, if I hadn't chosen, I have to move because I want my freedom. I want to live my life independently without people putting pressure on me. And that is it. I am way happier than I was then. And I found someone who truly makes me even more happy than I would be then, had I stayed with Cyril. And it was really worthwhile, because I found out through my life that culture matters. Culture, people might say, well, different cultures don't matter in life. No, that is not correct. If you are one of those persons who believe that culture don't matter, kudos to you. But I find that in interpersonal relationships, if you have the same culture, and I'll go further in saying, if your parents have the same type of relationship, stay very long, stable marriages, you will, and very loving families, you will feel more comfortable with the person. You have the same acquired principles and examples that he has and that I have, and the love is a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that I have found a true love. I'm not so guided like I was by finding someone that I felt would give me the lifestyle I wanted, because I realized I don't need that. Fortunately, I'll be able to have that, and I'm able because my parents' ancestors worked for that. And I'm looking after my children. I do what I can. I do my volunteering. I care mostly for my son. I want to sell my handbags, which I'm not selling, do my blog and live my life quietly. But had I waged war against this person, same race, mixed race, I suppose same attitude, same complexion, the only difference is that she's quite tall for what I've had, and she relaxes the hair, and I don't relax the hair. I blow dry and I wash on Sunday, and like I did yesterday, and if it's rain like today, my hair shows a bit here, but that is it. Same race. Made my life hell by the back, or someone who truly because like the Bible says, infirmity sometimes is a disease of the soul, and God can rescue. And if you don't believe in God, believe in karma, and believe that there are certain wars they're not worth fighting for. There are certain enemies they're not worth having, because that person is just in the war to create problems, to create arguments, to create intrigue, to separate brothers, to separate sisters, to break families. And we don't need people like that. I bet you don't need people like that. So this is my advice today, and I gave you a real example. Not to go after your enemies when they hate you, because they might not be worthwhile. And if you go, you'll destroy your life. And let life deal with people like that, because life deals with them, and they're always sad, they always have problems.